What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's the one and only Dog Waters over here on the BDRP. I'm let a couple of people come on up in this chat. I know y'all used to being out there late at night in the darkness with D because he like to do shows in the middle of the night. He does them at 3 a.m. He does them at midnight. He does them at 9 p.m. You know, by the time that man get to going live, I'll be in the bed sleep. I'm knocked out, tired, ready to go to bed. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is D's night off. He's been having to have a lot of conversations lately and not getting much sleep, working late. And so I gave him the night off so he can get some time to rest his nerves, take a break, relax, and chill, kick back, and just take a little break. With that being said, I'm over here hosting the night with Byron. How you doing today, my brother?
I'm doing great. How
Man,
about you?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you joining me, man. It's a beautiful thing. The Dog Waters Network. We got our
Yeah.
radio station, we got multiple YouTube channels, and the crazy thing, Byron, is we have other channels that we don't even talk about because there's so much craziness that goes on. But one of the things that I'm most excited about is D.D.O.S's book. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you see this stream, if you haven't had the opportunity to go and purchase D's book, Oklahoma Bigfoot Files, Volume 1, it is on Amazon right now. Just look up D.D.O.S. He's an author on there on Kindle. 4.99, not really expensive. Show the man some love, give him some support. Um, Byron, I remember when D was having all those issues back in the day. When he first came back and all that drama was kicking off, and I was doing everything I could do to help him. Uh, I remember him working things out and getting to the point to where he is now. It's just amazing where he's come from to where he is today, don't you think?
Oh, I know it is. The Lord was all behind it, and you too.
Yeah, well, the Lord, it takes the Lord to move you to help a man like that. You know what I'm saying? It really does. It takes God Himself to move you. I was having a conversation with one of my friends that I work out with, and he has Instagram channel and he has a YouTube channel, and he works with Special Bowl Team 22, and we were talking about how he's always had people to come in and help him with little small things, right? And he's like, man, sometimes some of these guys are so busy, it's hard to get them to help you. And I was like, well, man, you need to pray about that because it takes God to show you favor with that man in order for that man to come in and help you move forward. And it's funny because we pray about an issue that he's having with a loan. Guy's building a $3 million house, right? Um,
Yeah.
and he's having problems getting his loan. He's like, man, I'm having trouble getting this loan. I'm having all this stuff. And so we pray about it. And then literally 2 days later, the right loan officer calls him and he starts the loan process. And he should be closing soon. So it takes favor. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, God's good all the time.
mhm. And God moves men to help other men. And that's the beauty of it, man. That's what I love about God. You never fall short when you have him in your life at all. I mean, you just don't fall short. And that's one of the things I love about the Dark Waters network. It's like, and I don't know how long you've been around, Byron, and how long you've been like into the paranormal thing, but I remember years ago I was on Robert Street, 2706 Robert Street, right? And
Yeah.
I remember I did an interview with, it was a round table, Timothy Rayner, Wes Garmer, and oh man, I'm looking at this guy's name, Tony Merkel from the Confessionals. It was this round
Yeah, I
table.
like
We had,
him.
yeah, Tony. I mean, Tony's cool, right?
Yeah.
And we start talking about, um, I start talking about God and Jesus doing that round table. And back then, bro, it was kind of like taboo. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? In the
Um,
in the Bigfoot community, it was like this huge taboo thing where you couldn't mention Jesus, you couldn't talk about God. Everybody was afraid that the audience would be isolated from their audience because you talked about it. And I
yeah.
mean, that was 7 years ago, 6 years ago. And for me to have 160 something thousand subscribers, be strong in my faith, have D with me who's strong in his faith, have people like you who are strong in their faith and not afraid to speak out is just a marvelous thing, man. It really is.
Yes, it is. The Lord blesses obedience.
Yeah, he certainly does. Hey, Cheryl, babe, I see you in the chat. I hope you're doing well. Um, Last night in the hospital. Thanks everyone in prayers. God has saved my life. I'm still ill, dying. Yep. Cheryl, your story is amazing. And when you come back out of that, baby, we're gonna tell your whole story because you definitely are a testimony to what God can do. And how he saves lives and how he intervenes on people with some very, very bad situation. My girl was in a bad spot and Pops came through for her big time. Really, really big time. Meryl, I mean, you've seen it before, right? You've seen what God intervened on somebody's behalf, haven't you?
Oh yeah, yes I have, and I'll tell you right now, he's intervened in this subject because when I first started looking into this on here, th- there wasn't any Christian perspective on it. It was you and D.D.O.S, and the only other person I could think of at the time was Scott Carpenter. And y'all have come a long way. You've changed the subject.
You know, that's one guy I never really had a chance to talk to. Scott Carpenter. I would love to speak with him. I want to say we reached out to him. I don't want to lie on Scott. I want to say we reached out to him, but we just haven't had an opportunity um to connect. Greg Graham, what's up, brother Greg? We just haven't had a chance to connect, and I think that's where we're headed now. I think we're headed to a point to where there's going to be people connecting that need to connect, people talking that need to talk, and then push each other forward and help each other grow in manners and ways in which they haven't been able to grow before. That's where I kind of see it being. Um, and that's why I like the fact that D had an opportunity to write his book. I think we, as Christians and brothers of the faith, in any field that we're in, we need to expand out and broaden our message across the board and reach out to different audiences. So we need to be on in Audible with books and have our perspective told there. We need to be on Kindle with books and ebooks and print books. We need to be on radio stations with with our opinions there. We need to spread the message wherever there's a possible place for us to spread the message, but we need to do it in a manner in which um, there's enough control to where like nobody's gonna shut it off. You know, somebody
Yeah.
can't say, "Oh, I don't like what you're saying," and boom, just shut it all off.
I'll
And
tell you right now, if there's not some type of coordination gotten together, especially with the people approaching this through a biblical lens, I don't have any faith that YouTube's going to keep letting it happen.
yeah, YouTube is wilding, man. I mean, it's really really wilding. Especially when it comes to conspiracy theories slash faith. It's certain things they'll let just go by. For example, everybody who's looked at short videos, seen the short videos with dudes just running down the street shooting people, and they play rap music, and they legit just they walk in the store and start shooting up the people in the store. YouTube is allowing that left and right. Now, it's the guy's not showing it doesn't show the actual murder, but it shows the guy committing the act of murder, and they have no problem with that, man. That's amazing to me. They have no problem whatsoever showing that, but they got problems with other things, which I mean, it leaves me befuddled that they could
We
do
need
that.
both.
And
I
it's
don't
like
understand it.
yeah, I don't understand it either, but it's like literally glorifying serial killers. I mean, I grew up in a neighborhood where, people think like they're gangsters, but no, these dudes is legit like serial killers, like 15, 20 bodies. So it's just like, I don't even understand how they would even allow that because it only perpetuates that into the future. And people think it is cool because those shorts have, 500, 400,000 views, but YouTube is down with it. And I just think they're down with whatever destruction they can wreak and whatever havoc they can cause that'll make them some money. You know what I'm saying? If you're on the other
Yeah.
side of that, nah, we're not playing around with you.
Well, it's like the old news saying, if it bleeds, it leads.
Hmm. That's true. That's true. If it bleeds, it leads. But the end of the day, man, there's a severe price to pay, a very severe price to pay. And I don't think people understand. Like when we owned our record label down here years ago, um, there are rappers that leave impressions on these young men and women, and some of
Yeah.
them are real gangsters. You know what I'm saying? Like we had a guy named Calico. Calico was a real gangster, like super duper gangster. Calico ended up getting murdered, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then we had other people that was rappers that was like went to private schools, but they could rap. But they went to private schools, they dressed a certain way. But when they went home to a two-parent household, but they just wanted to be a rapper, right? But when the videos were being shot, and we were in the strip clubs with the videos and the cameras and the money, they would have fooled you at the drop of a dime. You'd have thought he murdered 10,000 people. They were so hard and so rough looking, right? But the reality of it was that's not how they were. And the unfortunate thing is that across the board was being portrayed to young people, whether it be with like the guy 6ix9ine with the rainbow hair, or whether it be some of the other rappers. Is just, hey, this is the lifestyle you need to live, and that lifestyle leads to nowhere but prison, man. It
Yeah,
doesn't
the
lead to.
grave.
Mhm.
That
For
is the grave.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the scary thing. But it's perpetuated. Like anybody who's been around drama and death and blood, it's not something you really want to spend a lot of time around. You just don't.
No.
You just don't want to spend time around it. But unfortunately, generations of kids are being brainwashed to believe that that's the right way to go. They really, really are.
Yeah, my grandfather was in the Korean War, and he
Okay,
couldn't even hardly watch a movie with bloodshed in it.
I bet he couldn't. All the blood he saw, I bet he couldn't, man.
No.
There's guys, some of the guys I train with down here that have, and I've been blessed to have some really good guys to hang out with. They've been to war, and man, it's when I say they won't watch a movie about like killing and murder or none of that. They don't even watch that kind of stuff, bro. It doesn't appeal to them. It doesn't. They don't watch it. They don't really care for it. They just don't. And it's just a difference in what's real and what's fake. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Well,
the
it's
problem.
entertainment, and they built a character.
Hmm. And that's the problem, though. People haven't been able to differentiate the difference between what's real and what's entertainment, and that's where all the issues stem from. Um, a lot of that stems from in our society. It stems from people not being able to differentiate the two. And once people learn how to differentiate the difference between what's real, who's real, and what's entertainment and who's fake, then they'll clearly see, that they need to change their ways and stop following them behind people and chasing them behind people and all the rest of this foolishness. But until that happens, bro, people don't understand it. Switching subjects, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how much D has talked about this over here. Tomorrow, the marketing starts for Erie Expeditions, and I'm excited about this one, Byron. I really am, because the last time we did a project that involved cameras, the project ended up getting consolidated. Everybody saw the problems that we had with it. This time, this business model is cheaper, is more efficient. Um, it's a model that achieves the original goal that I set out to, which was to help researchers actually capture evidence in the field, to fund some people that are researchers, to get them out and get them in positions where they can capture some evidence. I think the only sticking point might be, and that's going to be a part of the negotiations as we call for investigators to come in and work with us. I think the only sticking point we might run into is some of those people are going to want to share in the evidence, but they're being hired to go out and capture evidence, so they're not going to be able
Yeah.
to keep the evidence for themselves. And so
Who
I
you
think
got going on so far?
right now, D is the head investigator for that. So D is filtering out who he's pointing out who. I got a couple of people targeted. I don't want to disclose it now until I get all the
Yeah.
NDAs in place. But I'm doing business a lot different this time than I did last time. It's pencil whip business. This business this time. It's like you on paper, and if you
Yeah, I
keep
think
around
that he's the perfect choice. I've never, he's got some of the best footage, pictures, all that I've ever seen.
hmm I mean, I remember back in the day when he first hit the scene, bro. Um, I remember going over and looking at some of his evidence, and back then it was kind of like, I was still at the phase where this stuff's not completely real. And then I saw this image that he had of a dog man. I was like, that's a werewolf right there. And
Yeah.
and I was like, this dude was out in the field when he got that. I was like, yeah, that's a werewolf, man. That's a dog man.
And he
Um,
goes out there unarmed.
yeah, he wild for that. I don't think he lets anybody else go in the field with him armed either, bro. I don't think
I w-
anybody can go out in the field with a weapon when he goes out there.
yeah, I don't want to go out there to begin with, but if I had to, you can believe I'm going to be packing something.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what. I've had people tell me, man, you should go out in the field, and you scared to go out in the field, and man, I stand on what I say with that. There is no way you're gonna get me to go out there because I've seen, I know, and I've talked to enough people to know that, man, it's so much wicked stuff out there in those woods. It's, I don't have to
Yeah.
prove it to myself at this point in time.
No, it's madness. It's yeah,
I just don't have to prove it to myself.
or
Um,
anybody else.
yeah. And the craziest thing is, you'll be amazed at the number of people who get themselves in trouble trying to prove something to themselves. Like, I want to know that this is real, dude. Do you need to get sunburned and know that the sun act, if you lay out in the sun all day, it's gonna burn your skin? No, you don't need to know that. Do you need to swim in the ocean, know that water is wet? No, you don't need that.
Yeah.
But people want to do it, and those people find themselves in the most precarious situations when they go out in the field. And you'll be amazed at how many of them have no real experience in the woods, no real survival experience. They just decide they're gonna pick up and go out to the middle of nowhere, bro. And it's not like on TV. And I think a lot of the stuff that people see on TV, like finding Bigfoot and mountain monsters, and a lot of the stage stuff, really confuses people.
Well,
Uh,
it's entertainment, and they can't discern the difference between that and the real world.
Thank you.
They think they're just going on an adventure.
Hmm. Man, all I can tell you is I'm happy to tell you guys, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what anybody says, I don't feel a need for me to go out in the field at all. I don't. I really don't. I mean, I've been there. I went to set up cameras on my own. I walked to where I know for a fact there is dogman activity, and a very, very dangerous spot where there's dogman activity. And I didn't even feel comfortable out there in a vehicle with the vehicle door open. I just didn't feel comfortable. I mean, it just didn't. So I trust me, I'm not doing that anymore. It makes no sense to me. But there are people who love it, and there are people who are very, very good at it. I'll tell you one group of people that I really want to work with. I don't know if I'm gonna work it out. Is Squatch Watchers. I like those guys. They're brothers of the faith, smart guys, and they're out in the woods all the time. I
I'll
don't
have
know.
to check them out.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to talk to them. That's one group of people that I definitely want to work with. I really, really like those guys. It's just a matter of what we can do. But I'm excited about this. I think this one is going to go. I don't think, I know this one's going to go much better than the last one. It's going to be way less confusion. The model is much. It's way different. When we get away from the subscription model where you got to have a subscription every month, that way people can choose at an affordable price, a couple of bucks. I mean, literally a couple of bucks per event. Event every.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah,
That'll be a lot better.
yeah,
I got to ask you something else. If you got a, any line on how many places you're going to try to get into? I mean, do you have a line on
yeah.
about how many you're working toward?
Well, what I'm doing is I'm dividing it up into regions. Um,
There
you
you
know,
go.
Regional investigation teams. And I'm not just doing cryptids. I'm doing, haunted historical locations, Bigfoot, Dogman, and it's a regional thing with regional teams that will go out. So, for the first quarter of the year, maybe the Southeastern regional team, and I might break it up into Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, or something like that, and
Yeah.
um, and add Oklahoma in there, right? And then go further west, and then go further east, and then go. What I really want to get is somebody that's on the Appalachian Trail. That's where I've never
Yeah.
told stories, the Dogman and Bigfoot stories about everything I have from the Appalachian Mountains. I got some stuff, and I've been holding on to it because I will go put it all into a book. And I think it would be great if I can get that team squared away out there, which is, it might be a little bit rough, but if I can coincide those stories in that book with actual live investigations out there, bro, it's some wicked stuff out there. I'm not
Oh
saying,
yeah, I grew up in the foothills of the Appalachians when I was a kid. That's where I lived.
wow. Did you see anything weird out there?
Yeah, that's where I have my dogman sighting.
Oh man, see, it's,
It's
bro.
buck wild up there.
It really, really is. Like, I just recently, last year, people started talking about the wild people that lived in the woods of the Appalachians. Right? There was one
Yeah,
guy who went looking for him, but prior to him talking about it publicly, bro, nobody talked about that. Nobody.
yeah.
And I was getting stories about those people, and I was like, I'm gonna wait till I get some confirmation on this. Then out comes this guy searching around on his camera, and I was like, holy crap! He's in the same area where people have been telling me about this for the past 3 years.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, the people up in that area have heard stories about it all their life. That there are feral people out in the woods that live, like they did back in the 1800s, and that it's just crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And those people are very, very dangerous. And bro, I want to send some people into those areas. Now, full disclosure, I gotta disclose it to them. Hey man, you go into an area where there's not only Bigfoot, dog man, but there's human beings that might cannibalize you or you bout that action.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
and, and that's the thing, man. That's the ticket. You know, the one thing that worried me about the business model is somebody getting hurt in the field. So we got to work out some insurance issues. And we'll get that squared away. But outside of that, we're good to go. There's no insurance if you get attacked by dog man and Bigfoot, by the way.
yeah. I
Um,
think that's going to work a lot better. When people can come in and just get it by the event for a
mhm.
couple bucks instead of kicking it all up like that, then they won't be tempted to share it out to 50 people like they were doing on the old one.
Oh
That
no.
that they just if people would have done the right thing, it would have worked, but they just didn't.
Well, no, it wouldn't have worked. Either way it go. It was going. It was that was headed where it was going head one way or the other. But I tell you what, that won't be an option this time.
Yeah,
That was a fundamental business flaw model weakness. That won't be an option this time. It's you
it was
buying
a
a
proof
ticket.
of concept.
Yep. Um, that was a business model that had a weakness to it. This business model does not have that. That was the first thing I tended to was the theft and the stealing and people sharing codes. That just was ridiculous. And
Yeah,
it hurt the investigators a lot because it should have been able to fund a lot more different investigators, but we're not gonna have that problem this time. I can guarantee you we're not gonna have that problem this time. The only problem I could really foresee is somebody getting ran out of there and leaving equipment. That's the only problem I can foresee. Um,
yeah, that could be an issue.
yeah, that's the only problem I can foresee is somebody going out there and getting ran out of there and leaving equipment. And even that's compensated for in different ways. But other than that, man, I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. So for those of you here on the BDRP, you're starting to get to hear a little bit more about this before anybody else. Um, other than that, I think it's gonna be fantastic. And I want to add another element in, and I'm gonna work my way to add another element in. There's a lot of skeptical people that want to go in the woods, or people who don't believe in this. If I can find some skeptics, oh bro, I'm throwing them out there. I'm throwing them out there with investigators and letting them go
Wow,
out
that
into
would be
the
cool.
bro. I want all the, that's not real. This is not real. I don't believe. Okay, you big and bad. Go out there.
Yeah, run that flipper lip. Now
Yeah,
let's see you put your money where your mouth
put your
is.
money where your mouth is. Let's see if you about that action. Go your behind out there in the middle of the woods, in the dark, in the night, and see if you about that action. And
This
see if
is the
you're gonna
most
make it.
exciting. This is the most exciting thing that I've heard on this subject ever,
Well, I
hands
mean,
down.
man, somebody's gotta innovate it. You know what I'm saying? The biggest
Yeah,
problem with this field has been the anti monetization kind of concept and idea that, oh, I'm gonna go out and investigate Bigfoot, but I'm gonna work my job, but I'm gonna spend all my weekends away from my family, and there's no compensation for it. Um,
and everybody expects them to do it for free.
and everybody expects them to do it for free. And then well, why we don't have good evidence? Well, if you talk to researchers, and that was one of the things that came out of Bigfoot weekend that I did, out of all those conversations, man, you would be amazed that there's guys who go to a conference, right? I mean, they're very well accomplished people in the Bigfoot field. I mean, authors, and they have footprints. And I'll say, man, how much money you made at the conference? Well, I got paid $200 to go to the conference. I'm like, wait, what? And I said, well, didn't you have to
Wow.
drive there? Yeah, I had to drive there. Well, did you get gas money? No. So wait, what you told me? How much money you spend on gas? I spent $150. So you went to
Well,
the
they didn't
conference
make nothing. They
to
actually
make
spent
fifty
money to
bucks
go.
and maybe sell how many books you sell? And it's too much technology out here for those old business models. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're
That don't
obsolete.
Yeah, they're obsolete. There's too much technology out here for those old models, and those old models don't really serve. Um, they serve the public well as far as the public meeting people and hanging out with people, but there's no balance. And so, since there's no balance in the equation, the guys who are in the field end up feeling exploited and taken advantage of. Now, granted, there's a celebrity thing to it, right? Everybody wants to feel popular, like, oh,
Yeah.
people came to see me and I'm popular and blah 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 blah.
And
But
they
at the
get
end,
to sign the books and
right,
all that good stuff and feel like they're doing something.
yeah. But at the same time, you can be on with me and go out into the field and get compensated for going out into the field and sell your books online, sell a signed book online. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Save yourself all that trouble. So,
Another thing
um,
that, just out of curiosity, have you thought about doing like maybe some round tables and doing a pay per view on it?
no, I haven't. The the field is kind of sticky icky when it comes to the big names. Like the big names in this field
I
know.
know.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why the coordination is going to have to come in handy. Making relationships is always better for any business.
Right. It's just people are sticky icky when it comes to because they know their value. So, for example, you take a West Gormer, right? West Gormer is
Yeah,
extremely popular. So when you bring a West Gormer to the table for a paid event, how do you negotiate his compensation? You see what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Um, it's one of those things to where you just really got to be mindful of how you do things. Because at the end of the day, there's levels in this field. You know what I'm saying?
I
So,
get it. I
um,
think it would behoove everybody though to try to come together on some of that sort of stuff, at least in the beginning, to try to support each other and push things further along in the field.
yep, yep. Well, we're gonna work it out, man. I think we're really gonna work it out. I think it's gonna end up being amazing once it's all said and done. It really is gonna be
Oh,
amazing
I
once
know
it's
it
all
is
said
from
and
what
done.
I've already heard.
It's gonna be absolutely amazing. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta get out of here in a few minutes because I gotta tell you some business with my son. So here's what I want y'all to do. Make sure you guys head on over to Amazon and support D.D.O.S. If you guys are here, like Matthew LaFleur says, and you support D.D.O.S. Matthew, do you have D's new book? Did you know about his book, Bigfoot, Oklahoma Bigfoot Files? Um, if you want to show him some love, go buy 3 of his books. That'll be about $15 you can put in the man's pocket. How about you do that? Ladies and gentlemen, show your support to D-Dolls from the BDRP. Show him some love. I want him to know how much I appreciate him. Um, you guys don't know the things that he does behind the scenes in the Dark Waters Network, and how much of a pivotal role he plays in the Dark Waters Network. You'll know soon as things roll out for him and more things roll out. Yeah, you'll see. But he plays a pivotal role for us, and he got a night off tonight. And I wanted to come and give you guys a show because I know he said he wanted to do a show tonight. Byron, you got anything before we jump off of here?
I want everybody to remember that not only does he do all the stuff that he's doing for the Dark Waters Network, he's actually praying for the people in the that are watching his streams and that contact him, and just keep him in your prayers. And for sure, go buy his book. I'm going to buy a copy tonight. I want to read it.
Yep. And Matthew, I'm gonna be looking to see if you purchased the book too. I'm gonna ask him if you bought one. Make sure you leave a good review. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Peace out.
What the hell? What are they going to do?